Your story resonates with me so much because I had a similar story. So, single mom, right? 5 kids, lived in Jamaica. See, the thing that people don't get here in America is that this country is unlike any other. There's a thing here called credit. It doesn't exist everywhere else. So, Jamaica, you either have your money or you don't. There's no in between. If you don't know something exists, how are you going to find it? Stuff like they should be talking about on the news. Like, credit impacts everybody's life in America. I don't care what people say.
Now, why is it not talked about in the news?
Banks are incentivized for people having bad credit.
Correct.
The consumer reporting agencies are incentivized for people having bad credit. Why?
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Punch Me in the Face. I got my man, Delevante. How you doing, bud?
I'm good, man. Better now that I'm speaking to you.
Dude, I'm better now to have you. Well, Durain, we're going to start with it. Durain told me, he said, you got to wrap this if you're going to be putting it on there because they ain't giving me no money.
I'm saying
right? So now I got to get rid of it until they give me some money, dude. So they're out. We don't even know what kind of water that was, though. It's a wrap. But if they want it back on,
cut me a check.
They cut me a check. That's my man. So here's what we're going to talk about today. Y'all understand what we do on this show is it's an obligation to empower people to get better.
I believe that.
Now, you got to punch people in the face. And you got to be willing to get punched in the face, right? Literally, figuratively, that's the way it works. But once you do that, you got to give people real information. And I was talking to my man Brendan today and Drew before we're getting prepped for the show, and I was like, here's my issue, man. My issue is that this industry, like why I fell in love with doing what I'm doing now, which is probably why you fell in love with what you're doing, and we're going to hear from you and you can tell us your story, is my mom would like work 3 jobs to pay the bills. My mom definitely doesn't understand her credit. We never owned a house. We took whatever used car we could get at the lot, like whatever she could find a way, and they screwed her left and right. I watched her struggle to pay the bills, like I could see it in her face and the tears in her eyes and the struggle that she had. But nobody ever came to my apartment and was like, hey, would y'all like some information? Now, this will screw you up because we didn't have the internet like y'all have. We had no social media. You know what I mean? My phone rang, it was on the wall, and it was like a rotary phone. You know what I mean? But now the internet pops and social media is crazy. The problem is that most of the stuff on social media is bullshit. It's bullshit. Most of them dudes out there are full of shit. They tell stories that aren't true. They can't validate it. They take your money. They know nothing. They've never pulled themselves up from their bootstraps. They've never been down and out. So if you've never been down and out, you can't tell me how to pull myself up. Bro, you were already up. Now me, I'm listening to you talk about, done a lot of research on you, and the stuff you talk about, I always think, would this have benefited my mom? Like that's always 100%.
100%.
So I want you to tell us, first of all, tell us your story. Let's get into what you're doing now. And I got some questions for you.
All right, cool. So for those of you who are seeing me for the first time, my name is Delevante, your favorite consumer law expert. I teach people how to repair, rebuild, restore their own credit using consumer laws. And I also teach credit repair business owners how to scale their business to make an extra $50,000 to $100,000 per year. Now, your story resonates with me so much because I had a similar story. So, single mom, right? 5 kids, lived in Jamaica. See, the thing that people don't get here in America is that this country is unlike any other. There's a thing here called credit. It doesn't exist everywhere else. So, Jamaica, you either have your money or you don't. There's no in between. And I was going to go to school for medicine, and single mom, 5 kids. Med school is expensive, right? I had 2 younger sisters. So when I came to the United States on a school work and travel visa, I had to make a choice. Go back home with the possibility of never coming back here or stay and figure it out. So I told my mom I'm staying, and she cried. She was like, oh my God, you should come home. And like, my mom loves me to death. I love her to death, but my blessings was in somewhere that she just couldn't conceive. So I decided I'm going to stay. So I got a job working at Dairy Queen in New Hampshire, right? So $7.25 an hour. I thought I was killing it because now, $1 US at the time was, I believe, 130 Jamaican dollars. So whenever I get paid, I'm not thinking US. I'm calculated in Jamaican currency. So like in my mind, I'm killing it.
You're killing it, bro.
I'm killing it, right? So then I left New Hampshire, moved to New York. The only thing I had was a backpack. September 18, 2010. I will not forget it. I've never been that cold in my life. All I had on was a jacket like this, a white one, and I stepped off the bus. Like, you know that green bus that run from Chinatown to Boston? I think it's called Lucky Star or Peter Pan. It's
I'm
one
from
of them.
Connecticut. I think it's Peter Pan. I think.
It's the green one. I remember the green one. I just don't remember which one of them. It's the green one. Dropped me off in Chinatown. So I got picked up. And fast forward a little bit, I got another job now at Five Guys. I was the best fry shaker in there, right? So shout out to Five Guys for giving your boy an opportunity. So after that now, I'm like, yo, this can't be it. I'm walking 2 to 3 miles for work. Rain, snow, or it doesn't matter what it is. I'm walking to work. And I'm like, this can't be it. So I got a security job now at a hospital in Brooklyn, right? And I was taking public trans every day. The things you see on public transportation is scary. And then one night I was getting off of work and I saw somebody just got beat up so bad. And the bystander that had nothing to do with it got injured. And that's when I decided that I had to make a change. So now I went to get my first car. See, the things you don't know that you don't know, the people who know it will always use it against you. So I was getting denied for everything. No cell phone. I couldn't get an apartment. I had to get a room in my boy's house, Chris. Shout out to Chris for giving your boy a hand, right? And I decided to get my first car. 2007 Nissan Altima, 75,000 miles. Denied. I had to call my boy Kevin. And Kevin now, like, he's like a bigger brother. And he's like, yo, where you want? Because he speaks Jamaican. He's like, yo, where you want? Anything you want, I'm doing it for you, right? So go to the car dealership. Now, you see, if I had comprehended what a co-signer is or what responsibilities a co-signer took on, I would have never asked him to do it. But I didn't know. He didn't know. He just thought he was helping me, and that's what I thought too. But I was responsible. I paid it off. Dude, that Nissan Altima with 75,000 miles cost me $23,000. It was 18.9% interest rate. I'm a new driver. So that's a $500 car note with a $350 insurance. So for a used car, I was paying close to $900 a month. And people think bad credit isn't expensive. It's one of the most expensive things you'll pay next to ignorance tax. So expensive. And there comes a point in everybody's life where, all right, 2010 to 2015, information wasn't like it is now. Information right now is just on the go. But back then, I had no guidance. And the life I lived was an expensive life because I didn't know the things that I know now.
Correct.
So, like, going back to your mom, if this information now was available, which it was, but you see, if you don't know something exists, how are you going to find it? And it's not like the stuff like they should be talking about on the news. Like, credit impacts everybody's life in America. I don't care what people say. Credit impacts everybody's life. Some way, some form, or somehow.
Now, why is it not talked about in the news? Tell them. Tell them.
All right. Banks are incentivized for people having bad credit.
Correct.
The consumer reporting agencies are incentivized for people having bad credit. Why? So the first thing a person does when they get denied is they go apply 5 more times. Every time an application is pulled or the credit is pulled, they're getting paid.
Correct.
And now when the banks do their subprime lending, see, if you have an 800 and let's say you went to get a car, they're giving you probably 2, 3, 4%. That's peanuts. But you see, me with my 550, I'm paying 18, 26, and 36%. Not to mention, the loan is insured, and we know within 2 to 3 years they're going to default. So I'm collecting all those payments. I'm getting the insurance, right? And now I'm going to sell it to a debt collector.
All right. So a couple of things you got to understand. Number one, is the deck stacked against you? Yes.
It is.
But you have to know it. Now, Durain, first of all, I'm glad that you're really, I'm glad. Let me tell you what I'm excited about. First of all, if y'all are listening, this is something you need to pick up with anybody you're in business with, you collaborate with, or allow to help you. You tell your story because you know what it feels like. Now, either Durain's completely full of shit, which we don't believe he is, or he really believes it because you hear the way he talks about it. For me, I think in your lifetime, you have to find people that actually can empathize with what you've gone through. Mm-hmm. One of my first jobs, weirdly enough, McDonald's, $3.50 an hour. I'm older than you, in Connecticut. Oh, cold, wow. $3.50. Grocery store, $3.50. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was killing it. Not even converting Jamaican money. I thought I was killing it. We lived in a subsidized apartment. I was like, I'm killing it. $3.50 an hour, right? Then I got a job working at a used car lot, okay? I know nothing about nothing, right? And they would rent these cars rent to own. Mm-hmm. I'm there about a year, right? You know, right? This dude, Gary, comes in. I was 15. He comes in a shop. He's cussing out everybody. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I want to talk to the owner. Now, I don't do well with being cussed out. I was raised a lot of violence. I enjoy violence when it's supposed to occur. I shouldn't enjoy it, but I do. And I'm like, Gary, yo, you need to shut the fuck up. Like, calm down, bro. I'm going to hop this counter and smack the taste out of your mouth. Like, relax. He starts crying. And he looks at me and he says, this place has sold me 3 cars that together weren't worth $1,500. Sheesh. And I paid probably $30,000 to $35,000 for those. I've not been able to pay my child support. I need those to get to work. At this point in time, it's costing me the money to work. Y'all have been screwing me over forever. Wow. I didn't know, right? I took a step back. I was like, I looked at one of the guys there. I said, Gary's full of shit, right? Gary walked out the door. He goes, no. I go, this is what we do here. Now, I was in the back sweeping, cleaning, taking out trash. Mm-hmm. Like, I know. I just happened to be stumbling in front. Gary's freaking out, you know? And I said to myself at that point in time, Durain, anything I do in business in my life will only help people. That's why I found life insurance. That's why the things I did, the mortgage market in 08. Oh, I
bring this up again. Bring this
08, up. Right? Bring so I want to tee you up for this. People say, why did you get out of real estate and mortgages? I was the buyer's agent for a dude named Craig, actually a professional boxer, great dude. Him and his fiance, she's pregnant. We sit down. I'm not the mortgage officer. I'm the realtor. Find a condo, $97,000 in his ballpark. He wants something for the baby and for his soon-to-be wife. We sit down at closing. He don't know nothing about nothing. He ain't smart before he got punched in the head a lot. And then getting punched in the head a lot made him dumber, okay? And I love it. Shout out to Craig. He'll still whoop ass. Like, he ain't afraid of nothing. He probably watching, and I am talking about you, Craig, but I love you, bro, okay? I ain't bringing you on Jeopardy, but I will bring you on a fight. Like, you on my side. And I looked at the documents. And I said, dude, in 1 year, this loan will blow up. What you have blows up and implodes on you. You can never make this payment ever in 1 year. Like, see what it does. It's only... And he's like, what do I do? I said, you shouldn't buy the condo. And he's like, and he didn't buy it, right? Mm-hmm. And I went back to my boss, Gail, and she was like, I heard about the closing. And I said, okay. She said, well, you can't do that. I go, well, first of all, last time I checked, I ain't got no boss. I'm what's called an independent contractor. Mm-hmm. I suck as an employee. I work for me. I'm not going to do that. That dude, they would have lost that place. They should keep renting. Mm-hmm. They 100% would have lost it. They'd had a foreclosure. It'd been on their credit forever, right? So talk to us. Well, I want to hear that real estate-wise. People say to me, I'm in a tough spot in my house, my condo, whatever. Having a hard time making the payments. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about how devastating that is for your credit.
All right. So you brought up some really good points. So a lot of people don't know that you can delete mortgages from your credit. Open or close mortgages, it doesn't matter. You can delete mortgages from your credit, right?
So you mean I default on my mortgage?
Whether it's current or defaulted.
I can delete it.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. You got, dude, listen, go ahead.
Right? So the other thing a lot of people don't know about mortgages, people are paying to companies or corporations that some of them don't even have the legal right to collect on a mortgage. You see, if the mortgage and the note get separated, the mortgage is null and void. The mortgage and the promissory note are accessories to each other.
Correct.
They must travel together. This is a Supreme Court case ruling. They must travel together. And when securitization happens, whether MERS takes it or they put it on the secondary market as mortgage-backed securities, that now is where the separation occurs. See, the only way a securitization can happen and the mortgage is still valid is if the nominee, which is MERS, and the owner of the mortgage, MERS hold the mortgage and the owner, which is the originator, holds the note. If the holder of the note and MERS are two different entities, the mortgage is null and void because the promissory note secures the debt. No promissory note, there is no debt. If you have a debt, there is no promise to pay.
So if I'm watching this and I have an issue with my credit, mortgage being on there, missed payments, defaulted, or just what you just explained, you might go, I don't understand that. Okay, well, guess what? It's okay. See, in life, now, you run a company. Mm-hmm. This is what you do. You provide a service. It ain't for free. It ain't not for profit. Talk to everybody, because people will say to me, Sean, like I've run some big companies. There's been a lot of guys that do what you do that have reached out to me. I do a little research. And I'm like, dude, like everybody says you don't do nothing. Like you take their money, right? Not what you do, because you provide a service.
I do.
I know you do. You know, we do our due diligence, right? So tell everybody, like, because what's happening now, this is the big punch me in the face. When we hear things that we don't understand, different scares us. Mm-hmm. So we hear it and we're like, I like them, makes sense. I don't know, my note, we just shut down. Okay? Talk to people about, because I'll give you a quick example, and this might relate to a lot of people, and I'm gonna kick it back to you. I got a good friend of mine who 10 years ago said to me, I'm in a 2-family house, me and my wife, got a tenant, it's hard, we're falling behind, we're gonna lose the place. Now I'm kind of like, it's 10 years ago, dude. Like I'm running a company, I'm like, I can't buy it for you. I don't really know what to, and when I don't know what to say, I don't give you advice. Mm-hmm.
Which should be proper.
Like if you
if you ask me something I don't know, I'm gonna tell you I don't know.
100%. So I don't know. Now, 10 years later, dude, he's trying to get a mortgage. And it shows up that he owes this bank $147,000 on his credit.
Wait.
Yep.
You're saying 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
And it's still there?
It's still there.
That is against the law.
There you go.
The statute of limitation has passed on that.
So tell us what you would do for a guy like that. Because I will, for people like that, tell them what you'll do for them.
All right. So the first thing is we have to comprehend statute of limitations, right? So in the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, 15 U.S.C. 1681, it said in there that there's a statute of limitation for different things. So when we talk about negative and derogatory information, like what that mortgage is,
correct,
7 years is the statute of limitation.
Got to go away.
7 years.
And if it hasn't, what do you do to help? What do you do to help your client?
So this is what we're going to do now, right? So first of all, we have to, so they'll come, I do coaching, I do one-to-many. So it's not a one-on-one service. So what they do now, they come to my university, right? Consumer Law Secrets University. Mm-hmm. And on the coaching calls, let's say what you just told me now is what your buddy just told me, right? The first thing is I want you to get the consumer report directly from TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, because we don't want to use a third party because they can say the third party got the information from somewhere else. Yep. We're going to go straight to the source.
The ones providing the information.
Correct. So now we go straight to the source. We look on it. Okay. When did this account first went into default? All right, cool. So calculating now from that time to the current time, well, the law says it's 7 years. So if inaccurate information is still reported on a consumer for more than 7 years, the only one that potentially can go longer is bankruptcies. And I'm going to show y'all and tell y'all how to get rid of bankruptcies in any account in a minute. But if that account is still reporting, it is a direct violation of the laws of the FCRA. So now, let's say your friend went to go get a new home, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say this home now was a $2 million house, and your friend got denied as a result of that information.
He did. It wasn't $2 million, but he got denied.
But that is called actual damages. Right? So if you go to 15 U.S.C. 1681N and 1681O, this is the section for civil liability, right? So basically, if a consumer reporting agency fails to do what is required under the law, in his case, delete that negative account after 7 years. Now he got denied. He needs to get himself a consumer lawyer and go sue the heck out of them because you can get up to your actual damages.
So why they know it's illegal? They're obviously massive companies. They have no problem
They don't
scrubbing the data.
care.
They don't care. Now, why don't they care?
Okay. All right. The CFPB, there was a lady, I think she's from here in Florida. She sued Experian for, I believe, $20 million because Experian was furnishing inaccurate residential information because she got pre-approved for a mortgage, right? And then now she went back to get the mortgage. She got denied because of the information that was there that was inaccurate. It wasn't even her information. Wow. She got denied. She got a lawyer and a $20 million lawsuit later.
So they assume that most people are ignorant, not stupid, uninformed. They will never fight back because the system will wear them down, right? They'll make phone calls, they'll email, they'll hear nothing, right? And there's so much money in it for them anyway that if somebody gets them every once in a while, it don't matter. And then they have it insured anyway.
They make billions.
Correct.
What's 20 million?
And they nothing. You write it off anyway. Then they write it off.
This is the thing that gets a lot of people. Words and the meaning of words. See, what do people call TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian?
Credit reports?
Credit bureaus.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as a credit bureau.
So I call it credit report. That's what I always call it.
You are not like everybody else.
Yeah.
See, 95% of everybody calls them credit bureau.
And there's no such thing.
But what do we know about a bureau? Government.
Yeah. Scary.
So we think government, so we think now subconsciously, if a credit bureau is saying that this information is accurate, we're going to believe them. Who am I to fight them? They're a government agency. They're not. They are a private corporation that's publicly traded. But because they have mastered words, they've used words against us. So now it's a thing where definitions are concerned. Well, their correct names are consumer reporting agencies. They assumed a role that was not given to them. And that is why laws now are in place to regulate how they report that information.
You run an academy, right? Is that
university?
University. So if I sign up for the university, what is that structure like? Is it daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly? What's the deal?
Great question. So we do 2 calls a week, Sunday and Monday. So that's 8 calls a month. It ranges from 2 to 3 hours, right? Each session. Every month I do a challenge, a 5-day challenge, right? And that goes for like 2 to 3 hours, 5 days a week. And then now we do quarterly meetups and biannual conferences. It's a lot of stuff, man. So when you talk about getting in the room,
empower the person. So if it's me, I join. I had, let's say I was this guy with the issue. You'll teach me everything I need to know to go handle my business. See, who I need to call, what I need to do, what letters I need to send, all of it.
What happens when you give a man a fish?
They eat, bro.
But what happens when you teach that man how to
fish? They eat
fish?
forever, dude.
Come on, bro.
See, but that's the thing, too. That's what a lot of them do, is they want to charge you to do, but you can never fix it yourself. You're not empowered to do it. You're never going to be
dependent.
Correct.
No.
Which is See, the whole thing, here's what is real hard about the fact that capitalism is a great system. I'm a capitalist, okay? But it is predicated upon the fact that 99% of people will always believe that they're supposed to take whatever's given them, the job they get, the credit they get, but that's how most people think. Now, I will tell you, if you're upset about your credit, where you're at, what you can't do, and you do nothing about it, I have no empathy for you, because this is a solution, right? You provide a solution.
Come on,
you provide a solution.
I'm gonna give you a scenario. Wells Fargo got hit with a $3.7 billion lawsuit from the CFPB for applying mispayments to mortgages, for illegal repossessions, for illegal foreclosures, for illegal overdraft fees, and so many other things. Now, they're not the only ones doing it. They're just the ones that got caught. Now, look at it this way. That situation impacted over 16 million people, right? Let's say a mispayment, because every time there's a late payment, there's a late payment charge.
Correct.
$10. Multiply that by 16 million consumers at $10 per late payment charge.
That's crazy.
Okay.
It's crazy.
How much is an overdraft? Normally 25, because I've overdraft. Y'all think y'all boy had it. Nope, I was overdraft. I was in check systems. Y'all don't know about these struggles, all right? So $35 for overdraft fee. Multiply that by 16 million. The system is sent like the system makes so much money off of people with bad credit. It's disgusting. They are not incentivized to tell you none of this. They're not going to tell you that if the mortgage and the note is separated, the mortgage that they're collecting is null and void. They're not going to tell you that stuff. They're not going to tell you that late payments are illegal and shouldn't even be on your credit. They're not going to tell you that you don't have to pay collections. But see, Hosea 4:6, I'm not religious, I'm very spiritual. It says, my people are destroyed because of a lack of information. It is true. And as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if we program the masses to go to school, get a job, join the 40-40 club where you're working for 40 years at 40 hours a week on 40% of your retirement, then we have the population controlled.
Correct.
See, remember the Rothschild said, see, if I control the world's money, I care not what its leaders do.
Correct.
So information has always been the driving factor to wealth. Because I guarantee you right now that if you take any rich person and you strip them of all their wealth, give them a year or less,
100%.
they're right back on their
Zero
feet.
doubt about it.
They could have went bankrupt. Give them just 1 year.
Yep.
It's not that they have money. See, people want to skip a thing called the process and just go to the end result. Well, that's how you lose stuff. That's why people that win the lotto, they go broke within 3 to 4 years and file bankruptcy. They skip the process of learning how to do the thing.
Right.
They want to become this person who you have to go through some stuff to get to your stuff. And when you don't go through some stuff to get to your stuff, you're going to lose all that stuff because you do not know how to get it.
Right.
And this is why I teach consumer law, because when you know how to clean a credit report using the laws legally, there's absolutely nothing you cannot do. Dude, I was in Kuwait when I was deployed in 2020. I built my first 800 credit score in Kuwait on a cell phone in 140-degree weather, walking 1.5 miles to work. So when I hear people with the excuses of, oh, it's so hard, you don't know what hard is. You've never been there. You don't know what hard is. All you got to do is take your damn phone, go on Experian, go on Equifax, go on TransUnion, write them a letter, or go to annualcreditreport.com and get your consumer reports. Go look over it. It is yours. Like, people are expecting you to just come like a knight on a shining armor and just say, hey, here is the starter kit to get your life together. When do we take responsibility for our own actions?
Well, if you don't, and it's a great point, because you're gonna hear a lot, and you have two choices. You can either check out and go, you know what, that seems like a lot, and go on about your day. Go watch a game, go drink a beer, go get you do whatever you want to do. Or you can go, I'm sick and tired of being fucking sick and tired. Like, I'm just sick and tired of bitching about it. I always talk to people in any company I ever run. I'm like, if you have a problem, you got to bring me a solution, okay? So any of you out there that are like, man, I wish my credit was better. Okay, what's the solution? I ain't got one. Then shut up. I mean, because you do have a solution. There are solutions. There is information you can get. It isn't not available to you. But at some point in time, the only way this stops, the abuse stops, is when enough people stand up. See, what happens in history, I always told my kids, history is important. Class is important because history repeats itself.
It does.
And you piss enough people off, and there's some big badass people that have been overthrown because they didn't realize that there's power in freaking numbers. You know what I mean? Like, there's like when you look at, I grew up with hardware stores everywhere. Okay, there was no Home Depot, there was no Lowe's. Okay, you'd walk in a hardware store, you'd buy a screwdriver, and you'd pay an inordinate amount of money for it because it was the only place to buy it in 25, 30 miles. Home Depot comes in, Arthur Blank, bunch of people, and says, you know what? That's bullshit. Let's do a big box deal. On top of it, let's teach people to fish, lay their own flooring, carpet, linoleum, tile. It's not all that complicated. Everything that doesn't require a permit. Let's teach them how to do it. Paint, sheetrock, landscape. Why shouldn't we do that? And we'll make a little bit on every transaction. But if we do that, so somebody said to me one day, don't you feel bad that Smith's Hardware went out of business? I said, no, I feel bad that they were in business. Fuck them. They were open 25 hours a week. They charged whatever the fuck they want to charge. I'm now paying at Home Depot 20 cents on the dollar for all the shit I was buying for them, which means they were buying the same shit. These guys might buy, they just started. So like they're buying in massive bulk. There's only a couple Home Depots. It actually allowed a lot of us to do the things we want to do to our house because now the prices came down, right? Every industry has seen that happen. The taxi industry. Dude, Uber's not complicated. A lot of dudes tried Uber. They backed down. They had the balls to fight the cab companies, the municipalities. There's a lot of legal expense. I heard a guy say we started the company at $1 million in legal fees every week. Every week, boom, right? But we knew that was part of the struggle. And at some point in time, we as a society, especially a lot of us that have not been in a good spot, that have walked it, need to go, you know what, dude, enough's enough. Enough's enough. So for the people on here today that are saying enough's enough, how do they find you? How do they get connected with you? And guys, hear me on this. If there's nothing else you know about what we do here and Punch Me in the Face, we hit you straight. Like straight up. It's what we do. We don't bullshit you. Whatever I'm going to do has to be good for people. I was a social worker 14 years, Child Protective Services. I worked with abused, neglected children. And I came, and every month we had a staff meeting. And our bosses who never left the office would pontificate about what the problems were. And I'd always go, the number one problem is the people are broke. They're broke. Like, they're broke. So when you're broke and frustrated, you and I are sitting around drinking on a Sunday. Maybe we're both pretty good people. You're thinking about going back to work on Monday, so am I. We both are broke. And all of a sudden, before you know it, we got our kids, we're hanging out, we're frustrated with each other, we start fighting for no reason. We don't even know why we're fighting. We're just pissed off, right? And you do stuff when you're broke that you wouldn't do when you're not broke. You will, because you've got to make money. If I had to start over again, I would. But there's things I've done in my life historically to make money, like when I worked at McDonald's and I worked at the hardware store. I also was like, there's a lot of money in selling there's a lot of money in selling weed. A lot of money. Dime bag, here you go. A lot of money. You give it to me. So I did stuff that was like, I was trying to make money. There's a lot of money in gambling. They're like, if you go pick up the money, we'll pay you a percentage of what you pick up. I was like, shit, I'll do that. You'll do things you wouldn't necessarily do when you need the money. And what bothered me about social work after 14 years, you know why I had to get out? Because I started going to houses and I was like, dude, you were a kid in that case that I opened with your parents, and now you're a case as a parent. And we've done nothing to change the system.
You just said it.
We've done
itself.
We've done nothing, and we're just watching. I'm like, dude, I'm like beating my head against the wall. So for the people out there that are trying to figure out everything credit related, I'm trying to get, because what you talked about, it affects where you live, what you drive, your quality of life. Absolutely. Can you send your kids to college? Because if you take and give the card to the bank, 28 grand on something that's worth $7,000, that's $21,000 you could have given to your kids' college education. It's gone, So how do they find you? How do they connect with you? And if you listen to the passion with which you speak is about impossible to fake. So it's where he is. Tell everybody where they can find you, how they connect with you, where do they follow you, where do they get in your network, get in this university, and start to improve their lives in that way.
Absolutely. So I'm on social media, Daraine Delevante. So DARAINE DELEVANTE. Now, Instagram, YouTube, I got so much content on YouTube. Like a person right now that says, listen, I am willing to change my life right now. Go to my YouTube, Daraine Delevante, type it in there. You will get information. Like, my free content is so good, it's better than a lot of people's paid content.
I believe
Go there, learn some stuff, right? And for those of you that want more, I got 2 ebooks and a 30-day course they can get. Both of them are valued at $19.97, $1,997. For anybody here, it's $47.
Love it.
All they got to do is text the word credit to 917-993-5238. That's it. Text credit to 917-993-5238. A mind that is unwilling to change will never change. See, because if you take the old man and put him in a new car, he's going to have the old experience. Not a lot of people are willing to change. Change means I got to stop doing the things that it's not working for me, and I'm going to start learning new things that's going to work. Because when you change the input of anything, the output always changes.
Right.
Because, see, if you've done the things you've always done, guess what? You're going to be the person you've always been. You got to change what's coming in if you want a new result. So for everybody that's been sitting around like Chuck in the pickup truck with bad credit, it's time for you to make a change. See, some of you might be saying, well, if you want people to change so much, why didn't you give it for free? Because you don't value free. It must cost something. When you pay attention. And if you're not willing to spend $47 to change your own life, keep your bad credit. Go pay 18% on that used car.
Correct.
They're not willing to do anything.
Well, and also, for me, I realized people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for an education that they probably won't use. I mean, they probably won't use it, right? And so for me, and I do agree with you, I've been doing this a long time, where people, unfortunately, if there's no skin in the game, they don't care, right? But on top of it, that concept that everybody's supposed to come bail you out for free, that's a victim mindset. And dude, if you want to change anything in your life, your health, your financial situation, your relationship, any of the things you want to change, you can't go like, well, I just can't figure it out. There's a lot of things I've done wrong in my life, but I've never woken up and acted like a bitch.
But what happens
Never.
if you say, I can't do this? Your brain shuts down.
So they can do it. I'm telling you guys, follow them, find them. I'm telling you. And dude, I appreciate you because of your heart to serve and change. I appreciate you for an entrepreneurial spirit. And I appreciate you for how you came to America and said, shit, like this is an opportunity. I appreciate everything you've gone through to get here. So it's an honor to meet you, man. It's an honor to be in business with you, dude. Guys, find him. It'll help you. I appreciate you. Another episode of Punch Me in the Face. I always appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Get this to somebody. You know somebody bitching, moaning, complaining about their credit. Say, hey, I got something you can do about it. Let me know. So I appreciate y'all. Have a great day.
Let's go.